Hello everyone. Welcome back to Naruto Fix. Today we have another interesting What If Naruto story, which is what if Naruto's secret child appeared from the future to change history. Part 1. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. Now, without wasting any time, let's begin. The day Naruto Uzumaki became Hokage was supposed to be the happiest day of his life. The entire village had gathered beneath the Hokage monument. Children waved flags. Shinobi filled the streets. Families stood on rooftops. The 5 great nations had sent representatives. Even people who had once doubted Naruto now looked at him with pride. Naruto stood on the balcony of the Hokage Tower wearing the white cloak. He looked at the village below. For years, he had dreamed about this moment. As a child, he had imagined the entire village cheering for him. As a teenager, he had fought enemies who seemed impossible to defeat. As a young man, he had survived war, loss, hatred, and battles against beings far beyond ordinary shinobi. Now, he had finally reached the destination he once believed would solve everything. Naruto smiled. I finally did it. Beside him, Kakashi laughed. You did. Sasuke stood nearby with his arms crossed. You took long enough. Naruto looked at him. Shut up. Sakura laughed. Kushina wiped tears from her eyes. Minato stood beside her, smiling proudly. Hinata watched Naruto quietly. Her eyes were full of happiness. Naruto raised his hand. The crowd erupted. Naruto, 7th Hokage. Naruto Uzumaki. The sound shook the village. Naruto smiled wider. For one brief moment, everything was perfect. But nobody knew that far above the village, something had already arrived, something that didn't belong to this time. A small crack appeared in the sky. Nobody noticed, not even Naruto. A figure fell through it. A young boy, maybe 13 years old, blonde hair, blue eyes, 3 faint whisker marks on each cheek. He wore a black cloak with a strange symbol on its back. The boy fell through the clouds. His eyes opened. He looked at the village below. Then, he whispered, "So this is Konoha." His hands trembled. He looked toward the Hokage Tower. And when he saw Naruto standing there, his expression broke. Tears filled his eyes. Father. Then he disappeared into the forest. That night, Naruto sat in the Hokage's office. There were mountains of paperwork. He stared at the piles. This is worse than fighting Madara. Shikamaru sat across from him. I told you. Naruto groaned. Why does being Hokage involve so much paperwork? Because you insisted on becoming Hokage. I thought there would be more fighting. Quote. Shikamaru sighed. You've been Hokage for 1 day. I know. And you've already complained 6 times. 7. Shikamaru stared. Naruto laughed. Suddenly, the lights flickered. Naruto stopped smiling. He sensed something. Someone. Outside. He immediately stood. Shikamaru noticed. What? Naruto walked toward the window. There is someone in the village. Anbu. No. Enemy. I don't know. Naruto's sensory ability expanded. He felt the entire village. Thousands of chakra signatures. Then, one unfamiliar signature. Small, but strangely familiar. Naruto frowned. That chakra. Shikamaru stood. What? Naruto shook his head. Nothing. He disappeared through the window. The figure moved across the rooftops. Fast. Very fast. Naruto followed. The stranger knew Konoha's layout perfectly. He avoided patrol routes. He knew where the Anbu watched. He even knew which rooftops had surveillance seals. Naruto became more suspicious. Whoever you are, you've studied this village. The stranger stopped. Naruto landed behind him. Turn around. The boy froze. Naruto noticed his small frame. He looked young. Maybe 12 or 13. You're not from Konoha. The boy remained silent. Naruto stepped closer. I won't hurt you. The boy slowly turned. Naruto stared. His heart stopped. The boy had his face. Not exactly, but enough. The same blue eyes. The same blonde hair. The same whisker marks. Naruto's expression changed. What? The boy looked at him. Tears began rolling down his face. Naruto lowered his guard. Hey, are you okay? The boy whispered. You're younger than I imagined. Naruto blinked. What? The boy took a step closer. He looked at Naruto as if he had been waiting his entire life for this moment. Then, he hugged him. Naruto froze. Nobody had ever done that without warning. The boy held him tightly. I'm sorry. Naruto looked confused. Sorry for what? The boy's voice trembled. For coming so late. Quote. Naruto slowly placed a hand on his shoulder. Who are you? The boy pulled away. He looked directly into Naruto's eyes. My name is Ren Uzumaki. Naruto frowned. Ren. The boy nodded. Ren Uzumaki. Naruto waited. Ren swallowed. I'm your son. Silence. The wind stopped. Naruto stared at him. Quote. What? I'm your son. Naruto's brain stopped working. Shikamaru arrived moments later. He looked at the boy. Then at Naruto. Then at the boy again. What happened? Naruto pointed. He says he's my son. Shikamaru stared. Your son. From where? Ren answered. The future. Shikamaru closed his eyes. Of course. Quote. Naruto looked at him. What do you mean? Of course. Shikamaru sighed. This is going to be troublesome. Ren was taken to the Hokage Tower. Sakura arrived first. She examined him carefully. No transformation. No genjutsu. No chakra manipulation. His DNA was almost identical to Naruto's. But there was something else. Sakura looked at Naruto. He's telling the truth. Naruto stared. You mean, he is genetically your child? Quote. Naruto looked at Ren. How? Ren remained silent. Naruto noticed something. Ren wasn't looking at him. He was looking at the Hokage cloak. At the village. At the faces around him. Like he was remembering something. Naruto sat beside him. Ren. The boy looked up. Yes. Tell me everything. Ren hesitated. You won't believe me. Naruto smiled. Try me. I came from 23 years in the future. Naruto's eyes widened. 23. Ren nodded. I was born in the future. I grew up in Konoha. I trained here. I became a shinobi. Naruto listened carefully. Then, Ren's expression darkened. Everything changed. Quote. What happened? The war. Naruto frowned. What war? Not the fourth great ninja war. Something else. Ren looked at him. A war against history itself. Ren explained that the world had entered an era of peace after Naruto became Hokage. The 5 great nations remained united. The villages cooperated. Technology advanced. New generations grew up without experiencing the horrors of the old shinobi wars. Naruto became known as the Hokage who created the longest period of peace in history. Ren grew up hearing stories about him. He trained under the best shinobi. He learned from Sasuke, from Sakura, from Kakashi, from the remnants of the old generation. He had friends, a normal childhood, a family. But then, something appeared. A group called the Chrono Shinobi. They discovered an ancient Otsutsuki artifact capable of manipulating the flow of history. At first, they wanted to prevent wars. Then they realized something. If they could rewrite history, they could decide who lived, who died, which villages existed, which clans survived, which wars happened, and eventually, they decided Naruto's peaceful future was a mistake. They believed humanity had become weak. They wanted to restore the old age of endless conflict. Why? Naruto asked. Ren looked down. Because they believed peace made shinobi unnecessary. Naruto became quiet. Ren continued. They wanted the world to return to war. So they went back in time. Naruto's eyes narrowed. How far? 23 years. To now. Ren nodded. They wanted to kill you before you became Hokage. Quote. Naruto's expression hardened. Did they? Ren shook his head. No. Why? Because. Ren looked at Naruto. You saved them. Naruto frowned. What? You discovered them. You fought them. You defeated their leader. Quote. But. Ren's eyes filled with tears. You didn't know what would happen afterward. Naruto waited. The artifact broke. History started collapsing. Entire events disappeared. People vanished. Villages changed. Memories changed. Even I. Ren looked at his hands. I started disappearing. Naruto's heart tightened. What did you do? I used the artifact. To come here. Ren nodded. I had one chance. Quote. 1. I could travel back. But only once. And I couldn't return. Naruto stared. Then why come? Ren looked directly into his eyes. Because. You are going to make a decision that destroys everything. Quote. Naruto froze. What decision? Ren shook his head. I can't tell you. Why? Because if I tell you, I might change the future too much. Naruto became frustrated. Ren, I need to know. Ren's eyes filled with fear. You won't like what I have to say. Try me. Ren whispered. 23 years from now. You die. Silence. Naruto stared. Ren continued. Your death starts the collapse. Naruto's expression became serious. How do I die? I can't tell you. Why? Because the moment I say it, the timeline changes. Naruto clenched his fists. So you came all this way? Just to tell me I'm going to die? No. Ren shook his head. I came to stop it. That night, Naruto couldn't sleep. He stood on the Hokage monument. The village was quiet. Ren was staying at the Uzumaki residence. Naruto looked at the stars. He had fought death before. He had faced it countless times. But this was different. This wasn't an enemy standing in front of him. This was destiny. A future that already existed. Naruto hated the idea. He had spent his whole life fighting against people who told him what he could become. Now, his own future was telling him how he would die. Kurama's voice echoed inside him. You're thinking too much. Quote. Naruto smiled faintly. You heard. Of course. What do you think? Kurama remained silent. Then, I don't believe him. Naruto looked surprised. Why? Because. Kurama's voice became serious. His chakra is yours. But it's also different. Naruto frowned. What does that mean? It means the future has already changed. Naruto stared at the village. So, maybe the future he came from. Quote. Isn't our future anymore. Kurama smiled. Exactly. Naruto laughed softly. Good. He looked toward the horizon. Then I'll change it. The next morning, Naruto woke to an explosion. Boom. The entire house shook. Naruto immediately jumped up. Ren was gone. Ren. Naruto rushed outside. A black portal had opened above the village. Hundreds of masked shinobi descended. Shikamaru shouted from the street. Enemy attack. Quote. Konoha's defense system activated. Naruto looked upward. One of the masked warriors landed in front of him. The warrior removed his mask. Naruto recognized the symbol. The Chrono Shinobi. The warrior smiled. We found him. Naruto's expression hardened. You won't touch him. The warrior laughed. You don't understand. We aren't here for Ren. Naruto frowned. Then what do you want? The warrior pointed at him. We're here for you. Naruto entered sage mode. Then come and get me. The warrior attacked. Naruto disappeared. The battle began. Across the village, Sasuke appeared. He immediately activated his Rinnegan. How many? Shikamaru answered. At least 200. Sasuke smiled. Good. He drew his sword. It's been a while. Sakura landed beside him. Don't enjoy this. I wasn't. You were smiling. Maybe a little. Quote. They charged. Ren stood on the Hokage tower. He watched the battle. His hands trembled. He knew this wasn't supposed to happen yet. In his timeline, the Chrono Shinobi didn't attack this early. Something had already changed. Because Naruto knew. Because Ren had arrived. He whispered. Father. Naruto appeared beside him. Stay here. Ren looked at him. You're going to fight them. Yeah, you'll die. Naruto smiled. Not today. Quote. Ren's eyes widened. Naruto placed a hand on his head. Listen to me. No matter what happens, you don't need to protect my future. You're my son. That's enough. Ren's eyes filled with tears. I've waited my entire life to hear you say that. Naruto smiled. Then you'll hear it again. He turned. Ren grabbed his arm. Wait. Naruto looked back. Ren whispered. There's something else. What? Quote. The person leading them. Is someone you trust? Naruto froze. Who? Ren looked terrified. I can't say. Why? Because, if I tell you, he'll know I came back. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Ren. The boy shook his head. I'm sorry. Then, a massive explosion erupted below. Naruto looked down. Someone had entered the Hokage Tower. A familiar chakra signature. Naruto's eyes widened. No. Ren whispered. It's him. Naruto disappeared. The Hokage office was destroyed. Smoke filled the room. A figure stood in the center. Naruto landed. His eyes narrowed. Why are you here? The man turned. It was someone Naruto trusted. Someone who had stood beside him for years. Someone who had sworn loyalty to Konoha. Someone Naruto never expected to betray him. The man smiled. I'm sorry, Naruto. Naruto's heart sank. You. The man raised his hand. The Chrono Shinobi surrounded him. Naruto stared. You betrayed me. No. The man shook his head. I betrayed the future. Naruto clenched his fist. What does that mean? The man looked toward Ren. It means, your son was never supposed to exist. Ren stepped backward. Naruto immediately stood between them. The man continued. And that's why, history must correct itself. Naruto's eyes became cold. You want to kill my son? The man smiled. No, we want to erase the future, in which you became his father. Naruto's chakra exploded. The Hokage Tower shook. Then, Naruto entered Six Paths Sage mode. You picked the wrong timeline. The man smiled. Perhaps. He activated the ancient artifact. The entire sky turned black. Time itself began slowing. People froze. Birds stopped mid-flight. Falling debris hung in the air. Naruto looked around. The world had stopped. Only he, Ren, and the traitor, could move. The man looked at Naruto. Welcome to the beginning of the end. Naruto clenched his fist. Beside him, Ren activated a strange blue chakra. Naruto looked at his son in surprise. You can use that. Ren nodded. I learned it from you. Naruto smiled. Then, he raised his hand. Let's change history. Ren stood beside his father. Together, and for the first time, the father and son prepared to fight side by side. Not against an enemy from their own time, but against an entire organization determined to erase their future before it could ever exist. The frozen world around them looked like a painting. Thousands of shinobi stood motionless in the streets. A kunai hung in the air. A bird remained suspended above a rooftop. Even the smoke from the destroyed Hokage Tower had stopped moving. Only 3 people could move. Naruto, Ren, and the man holding the ancient temporal artifact. Naruto stared at the device in the man's hand. It was small enough to fit inside a palm, yet the amount of chakra surrounding it was terrifying. It looked like a broken piece of black crystal surrounded by rotating golden rings. Naruto narrowed his eyes. That's what you're using to freeze time. The traitor smiled. Not exactly. He raised the artifact. This doesn't control time. It controls causality. Naruto frowned. Meaning, it decides which events are allowed to happen. Ren stepped closer to Naruto. Father, I know. Naruto could feel something wrong with the air. This wasn't a normal space-time ninjutsu. It was something fundamentally different. The artifact wasn't stopping time. It was temporarily preventing certain events from occurring. A falling object couldn't fall because the object reaches the ground, had been denied. A person couldn't move because the person changes position, had been denied. Naruto's eyes narrowed. So you're not freezing the world. The traitor smiled. Exactly. You're deleting movement, temporarily. Naruto looked at Ren. Can you move freely? Ren nodded. Yes. Why? Ren pointed toward the blue chakra surrounding his body. This. Naruto stared at it. Ren's chakra looked strangely familiar. It contained traces of Naruto's chakra. But there was something else mixed within it. Something that didn't exist in Naruto's current time. What is that? Ren hesitated. My mother's chakra. Naruto's eyes widened. Your mother? Ren nodded. Naruto stared at him. He had never asked. Not properly. He had been too shocked by everything else. Who is your mother? Ren's expression became complicated. I'll tell you. The traitor suddenly attacked. A black blade appeared in his hand. Naruto immediately moved. He blocked the blade. The collision produced no sound. The frozen world remained silent. Naruto pushed the man backward. You'll have to wait. Ren stepped away. Naruto entered Sage mode. Golden chakra surrounded him. The traitor's expression changed. Even under causal suppression, you can still move. Naruto smiled. I'm stubborn. The traitor attacked again. Naruto dodged. The man's movements were incredibly fast. He wasn't using conventional chakra. Every strike seemed to come from a different possibility. One moment he was in front of Naruto. The next, he was behind him. Then above. Then beside Ren. Naruto immediately realized what was happening. He isn't moving. Ren shouted. He's changing the event. Naruto's eyes widened. The traitor wasn't physically moving. He was rewriting where his next action occurred. Naruto raised his hand. Interesting. The man appeared behind him. Naruto turned. Got you. Rasengan. The man blocked. The impact shattered the ground. For the first time, the causal field flickered. Naruto noticed. So that's your weakness. The traitor's expression changed. What? Your technique needs concentration. Naruto smiled. And if I disrupt it? ... The field collapses. The traitor immediately retreated. Naruto chased him. Ren joined the fight. Blue chakra erupted from his body. Naruto looked at him in surprise. Ren moved exactly like Naruto. The same footwork. The same instinctive dodges. The same unpredictable movements. Naruto laughed. You really are my son. Ren smiled. I told you. The two attacked simultaneously. Rasengan. Blue chakra blade. A spinning sphere collided with the artifact's defensive barrier. The barrier cracked. The traitor's eyes widened. No. Naruto struck again. The barrier shattered. The temporal artifact flew from his hand. Ren jumped. He caught it. The frozen world immediately began shaking. The traitor stared at Ren. Give that back. Ren looked at the artifact. Then at Naruto. What do I do? Naruto's expression became serious. Don't break it. Why? Because if it's controlling causality, destroying it could release everything at once. Ren nodded. He carefully held it. The traitor attacked him. Naruto intercepted. The man slammed a fist into Naruto's stomach. Naruto flew backward. Ren's eyes widened. Father. Naruto stopped himself in midair. He wiped blood from his mouth. I'm fine. The traitor smiled. You really are him. Naruto looked at him. Who are you? Quote. The man laughed. You don't remember. I should. You've met me. Naruto stared. The man's appearance began changing. His face became younger. His hair changed. His clothing disappeared. And suddenly, ... Naruto recognized him. His heart stopped. You. The man smiled. You remember now. Naruto's eyes widened. It was someone from his childhood. Someone he had met only briefly. Someone whose name had disappeared from history. How are you alive? The man laughed. Because I stopped being part of your timeline. Naruto's expression became serious. Who are you? The man answered. Akira. Ren's face went pale. You. Akira looked toward him. You remember me? Ren nodded slowly. You killed my mother. Naruto froze. What? Ren clenched his fists. Akira smiled. Now you understand. Naruto looked at Ren. Your mother. Ren's eyes filled with tears. Her name was Hana. Naruto's heart tightened. Hana. Ren nodded. She was a medical nin. She was from Konoha. And. Ren looked away. She was the person you loved. Naruto couldn't speak. Akira laughed. You never knew. Because the future where you met her was erased. Naruto looked at Ren. Then how? Ren answered quietly. Because some things survived. My mother. My birth. Your memories. And me. Quote. Naruto's eyes became wet. He suddenly understood why Ren had looked at him with such emotion. Ren hadn't merely traveled through time to save history. He had traveled to meet the father he had lost. A father who had never known he had a son. Naruto slowly approached him. I'm sorry. Ren shook his head. You don't have to be. I should have known you. You couldn't. Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder. But now I do. Ren looked up. Naruto smiled. And I won't forget you. Akira suddenly attacked. Naruto turned. The blade stopped centimeters from Ren. Naruto had caught it. His eyes were glowing. You've made one mistake. Akira stared. What? Naruto's chakra exploded. You gave me something to protect. The pressure became overwhelming. Six Paths chakra erupted. Kurama's chakra merged with it. The entire causal field cracked. Akira stumbled backward. Impossible. Naruto moved. One punch. Akira blocked. The impact shattered the street. Naruto attacked again. Akira changed the event. But Naruto changed his own. The two abilities collided. Causality against chakra. Possibility against will. Naruto began adapting. He stopped trying to predict Akira's movements. Instead, he sensed the intention behind them. Whenever Akira prepared to alter an event, Naruto moved before the alteration happened. Akira became increasingly frustrated. How? Naruto smiled. I don't need to know where you'll appear. I only need to know where you want to go. Akira attacked. Naruto countered. Akira vanished. Naruto turned. Rasengan. The attack struck Akira directly. He flew through the remains of the Hokage Tower. Naruto followed. Akira stood slowly. Blood ran down his face. You've become stronger. Naruto shook his head. No, I just stopped fighting the way you expected. Akira laughed. You think you've won. He raised his hand. The temporal artifact began glowing. Ren immediately shouted, Father. Naruto turned. The artifact was activating by itself. Akira smiled. You destroyed the stabilizer. Naruto's eyes widened. Then what happens? Akira answered. Everything that was suppressed returns. Naruto looked around. The frozen village began shaking. Every denied event was preparing to happen simultaneously. The bird would move. The kunai would fall. The buildings would collapse. People would suddenly experience all the movement they had been prevented from making. Thousands of events. At once. Naruto immediately understood. Everyone will die. Akira smiled. Exactly. Ren looked at Naruto. What can we do? Naruto stared at the artifact. We have to absorb the backlash. Quote. Ren shook his head. That could kill us. Naruto smiled. Then we have a problem. Because I don't plan on dying today. He reached toward the artifact. Ren grabbed his hand. Let me help. Naruto looked at him. You're my son. Exactly. I won't let you do this. Ren smiled. And I won't let my father do it alone. Naruto stared. Then, he laughed. You're stubborn. I learned from you. Naruto nodded. Fine. Quote. The two placed their hands on the artifact. Blue and golden chakra merged. The artifact screamed. A massive shockwave exploded. The frozen world suddenly moved. Everything happened at once. Buildings collapsed. Weapons flew. Shinobi regained movement. People screamed. Naruto and Ren were thrown into the sky. Naruto caught Ren. They landed on the Hokage monument. The artifact shattered. The causal field disappeared. Time returned to normal. Everyone in Konoha stared at the sky. Naruto stood beside Ren. The entire village had witnessed him. And for the first time, everyone saw the boy who had come from the future. The boy who looked like Naruto. The boy who called him father. Sasuke landed beside them. What happened? Naruto looked at him. Long story. Sasuke looked at Ren. Again. Naruto smiled. Yep. Sasuke sighed. Your life really is troublesome. Ren laughed. You're definitely Uncle Sasuke. Sasuke froze. Uncle. Naruto started laughing. Sakura arrived. Did he just call Sasuke uncle? Naruto nodded. Sasuke looked offended. I'm not that old. Ren smiled. You're older than my father. Sasuke stared. Naruto laughed harder. Got you. Sasuke glared at him. Shut up. For a few seconds, everything felt normal. But then, Ren suddenly fell to his knees. Naruto caught him. Ren. The boy was burning with fever. His chakra was fluctuating violently. Sakura immediately examined him. His chakra network is unstable. Naruto frowned. Why? Ren struggled to speak. The timeline. What about it? It's changing. Naruto's expression hardened. Sakura looked at Ren's body. His existence is tied to the future. If the future changes, ... his body changes with it. Naruto stared. What does that mean? Sakura hesitated. It means Ren could disappear. Naruto's heart sank. No. Ren looked at him. Father. Naruto shook his head. No, I just found you. Ren smiled weakly. You don't have to worry. Naruto's eyes became wet. I'm not losing you. But, no. Naruto looked at Sakura. There has to be a way. Sakura nodded. We'll find one. Quote. Naruto looked toward the sky. The Chrono Shinobi had failed. But Akira was gone, and the future had already begun changing. Naruto understood something. Saving Ren wasn't simply about protecting one person. It meant creating a future where Ren could exist naturally. A future where his birth wasn't dependent on a timeline that no longer existed. A future where he wouldn't disappear. Naruto clenched his fist. I'll do it. Sasuke looked at him. Do what? Build a future where Ren belongs. Sasuke smiled. Then we're going to need help. Gaara arrived. I heard. The Raikage landed behind him. So did we. The Mizukage joined. Then the Tsuchikage. Soon, shinobi from every major village gathered. Naruto looked around. He had spent his life trying to bring people together. Now, his son had given him another reason. Naruto raised his hand. We're going to protect the future. Gaara smiled. Together. That night, Ren sat alone on the Hokage monument. Naruto joined him. You okay? Ren nodded. Yeah. Naruto sat beside him. After a long silence. Ren asked. Can I ask you something? Sure. What were you like when you were my age? Naruto laughed. Terrible. Ren smiled. Really? I was loud, annoying, stubborn, lonely. Ren looked at him. You were lonely. Naruto nodded. Very. Then, how did you become Hokage? Naruto looked toward the village. People helped me. Friends, teachers, family, even enemies. Ren listened. Naruto smiled. And one day, I realized being strong wasn't about standing above everyone. It was about making sure nobody had to stand alone. Ren looked at his father. That's what Mom said. Naruto's expression softened. You remember her. Every day. What was she like? Ren smiled. She was kind. Strong. She hated paperwork. Naruto laughed. Good. She loved you. Naruto became silent. Ren continued. Even after you died. She never stopped talking about you. Naruto looked away. I wish I had met her. Ren smiled. Maybe you will. Naruto looked at him. What? Ren pointed toward the horizon. Because the future isn't fixed anymore. Quote. Naruto smiled. You're right. Then, a small golden light appeared above them. Naruto sensed it. So did Ren. The light slowly formed into a message. 3 words appeared in the air. She is alive. Naruto's eyes widened. Ren stood. Mom. The message disappeared. A second one appeared. Find her. Naruto's heart began racing. Who sent this? Ren looked toward the darkness. I don't know. Then a third message appeared. Before they do, the light vanished. Naruto stood. His expression became serious. He looked at Ren. Looks like our next mission just found us. Ren smiled. Together. Naruto nodded. Together. Far away. In a hidden dimension. A woman with long dark hair opened her eyes. She was injured. Weak. But alive. She looked toward a glowing portal. Naruto. A tear rolled down her cheek. You came back. Behind her, a shadow appeared. A voice whispered. The boy has changed history. Another voice answered. Then we change it again. The woman clenched her fists. No. She looked toward the portal. This time, we change it together. Quote. And somewhere between the past and future. The greatest secret of Naruto Uzumaki's life had finally begun to reveal itself. His son had traveled through time to save history. But now Naruto had discovered something far more important. The future wasn't simply waiting to happen. It was fighting back. And Naruto Uzumaki was ready to fight for it. The golden message disappeared, but Naruto remained frozen for several seconds. She is alive. Quote. Those 3 words kept repeating inside his head. Ren stood beside him, staring at the empty sky. My mother. Naruto looked at him. We're going to find her. Ren nodded. But where do we start? Naruto closed his eyes. His sensory perception expanded across the village. Nothing. He pushed farther. Beyond Konoha. Across the land of fire. Still nothing. Then he felt something. A tiny fluctuation. So faint that an ordinary sensor would never have noticed it. Naruto opened his eyes. Northwest. Ren immediately stood. You felt her. Maybe. Sasuke appeared behind them. I heard everything. Naruto looked back. Then you know what we're doing. Sasuke nodded. Finding Hana. Ren's eyes filled with hope. But Sasuke's expression remained serious. There is a problem. What? If she's alive in the future you came from? Ren looked at him. She should exist here too. Quote. Not necessarily. Sasuke pointed toward the sky. History has already changed. The future where Ren was born may no longer exist. Naruto frowned. So we don't know if Hana belongs to this timeline. Quote. Ren's expression changed. What does that mean? Sasuke answered calmly. If she was born naturally in the future, she may not exist yet. Naruto understood. They weren't simply searching for a missing person. They were searching for someone who might not even have been born in this timeline. Naruto looked at Ren. Then we'll find the point where her existence begins. Sasuke smiled slightly. That sounds impossible. Quote. Naruto grinned. Since when has that stopped us? The next morning, a meeting was held in the Hokage Tower. Naruto stood before the 5 cage. Ren stood beside him. Sakura had spent the entire night studying Ren's chakra. Her conclusion was disturbing. Ren's chakra network is stable for now. Naruto asked. For now. Sakura nodded. His body is synchronized with a future that technically doesn't exist anymore. Gaara looked at Ren. So his existence is unstable. Exactly. The Raikage frowned. Can we fix it? Sakura looked at Naruto. We need to create a stable timeline that naturally leads to Ren's birth. The room became silent. The Tsuchikage looked confused. You're saying we have to recreate the future? No. Naruto shook his head. We don't need to recreate the future. We need to create a future where Ren can exist. Gaara nodded. That is different. Naruto looked at everyone. The Chrono Shinobi believed history had only one correct path. They were wrong. History isn't a straight road. It's 1,000 roads. And we're going to make sure Ren has one. Quote. Ren looked at his father. You really believe that? Naruto smiled. I have spent my entire life proving people wrong. Ren laughed. That's true. But not everyone agreed. A group of elders had arrived from several villages. One of them stood. This is too dangerous. Naruto looked at him. Why? Because time travel has already damaged history. You're proposing that we interfere even more. Naruto nodded. Yes. That could destroy the world. Quote. Naruto's expression became serious. Doing nothing could erase my son. The elder remained silent. Naruto continued. I won't force anyone to help. But I'm going. Sasuke stood beside him. So am I. Quote. Sakura nodded. Me too. Gaara smiled. Then Suna will assist. The Raikage crossed his arms. Kumo too. The Mizukage nodded. Hiri. The Tsuchikage sighed. I suppose I can't let you idiots destroy the timeline without supervision. Quote. Naruto smiled. Thanks. The Tsuchikage pointed at him. Don't thank me yet. The group prepared immediately. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, Ren, Kakashi, Gaara, and several elite shinobi would travel northwest. Their target was an abandoned research facility discovered beneath the Land of Frost. According to Shikamaru's intelligence, the Chrono Shinobi had once operated there. Naruto remembered the name. Project Dawn. Quote. Ren suddenly became pale. What? Naruto looked at him. You know it. Ren nodded slowly. I've heard that name. Where? In my time. Ren swallowed. It was where the Chrono Shinobi conducted their final experiment. Quote. What experiment? Ren looked at Naruto. The first attempt to bring someone from the future into the past. Naruto's expression changed. And who did they bring? Ren hesitated. My mother. Silence. Naruto stared. Hana was the first person sent backward. Ren nodded. She was supposed to arrive 23 years before my birth. Why? To find you. Naruto's heart tightened. Then she must have been here. Quote, yes. But, Ren looked toward the horizon. She disappeared. Naruto clenched his fists. Then we find out where. The journey took 3 days. The farther north they traveled, the stranger the world became. Snow covered the ground. Mountains surrounded the path. The air was cold, but Naruto could sense something beneath it. Time distortions. Small fractures. Places where events had happened more than once. At one point, they passed a tree. Naruto stopped. Sasuke looked back. What? Naruto stared at the tree. I've seen this before. When? I don't know. He touched the bark. A vision flashed. A young woman stood beneath the tree. Long dark hair. Medical nin clothing. She was crying. Then, a young Naruto appeared. But not the Naruto standing there now. A younger version. He didn't know her. The vision disappeared. Naruto opened his eyes. Hana. Ren immediately approached. You saw her. Naruto nodded. She was here. Sakura examined the tree. There are traces of chakra. Naruto touched the bark again. I think this place remembers. Sasuke's Rinnegan activated. Not remembers. Naruto looked at him. Then, it recorded the event. Sasuke stared at the tree. Time left an imprint. Naruto smiled. Then let's follow it. Sasuke used his Rinnegan. The world around them changed. For several seconds, everyone saw shadows of the past. People walking through the forest. Shinobi fighting. A woman running. Hana. Ren's mother appeared again. She was younger. She carried a small child. Ren. But Ren was a baby. Naruto stared. The vision continued. Hana was running from masked shinobi. She reached the tree. Then, a portal opened. She pushed the baby through. Naruto's eyes widened. What? Quote. The baby disappeared. Hana turned. The Chrono shinobi surrounded her. One of them raised a weapon. The vision ended. Ren's face became pale. She sent me away. Naruto looked at him. To save you. Ren nodded. That was the day I lost her. Naruto clenched his fists. We're close. They reached the underground facility that evening. The entrance was hidden beneath an icy cliff. Sasuke destroyed the ceiling barrier. The group entered. Inside, the walls were covered in writing. Most of it was in an ancient language. Sakura translated the first section. Temporal displacement. The second, causal preservation. The third, genetic stabilization. Naruto stopped. Genetic. Sakura nodded. This facility wasn't only studying time. They were studying bloodlines. Naruto's expression hardened. Why? Sakura looked deeper into the records. Because certain bloodlines can survive temporal displacement better than others. Ren stepped closer. Which ones? Sakura read the list. Uzumaki, Uchiha, Hyuga, Otsutsuki. Naruto frowned. That combination. Sasuke understood. They were looking for people whose chakra could resist changes to history. Naruto looked at Ren. That explains you. Ren shook his head. No. What? They weren't trying to create me. Quote. They were trying to create someone else. Naruto looked at him. Who? Ren pointed toward the end of the corridor. A massive door stood there. On it was a symbol. A spiral, an eye, and a crescent moon. Naruto felt an immediate pressure. Kurama suddenly became restless. Naruto. I feel it. That seal. I know. It's not human. Naruto stepped closer. The door opened by itself. A voice came from inside. Welcome, Uzumaki. Naruto froze. The voice was female. Soft. Familiar. Ren stepped forward. Mom. No answer. Naruto entered. Inside was a massive chamber. At the center stood a circular platform. On it. A woman was lying unconscious. Long dark hair. Pale skin. A scar across her cheek. Naruto's heart stopped. He knew immediately. Hana. Ren ran forward. Naruto grabbed his shoulder. Wait. Ren stopped. The woman opened her eyes. They were gentle, tired, but alive. She looked at Naruto. For several seconds, she didn't speak. Then tears filled her eyes. You. Naruto couldn't move. Hana slowly stood. You really came. Naruto's voice trembled. You know me. She smiled. I've been waiting for you. Ren stepped forward. Mom. Hana looked at him. Her expression broke. Ren. She ran toward him. They embraced. Ren cried. I thought you were dead. Hana held him tightly. I thought I'd never see you again. Naruto watched them. He didn't know what to say. Hana finally looked at him. Naruto stepped closer. You're Ren's mother. Quote. She nodded. And. Naruto swallowed. I'm his father. Hana smiled through tears. Yes. Naruto stared at her. Then why didn't you come to me? Hana looked away. Because I wasn't allowed to. By whom? Quote. The Chrono Shinobi. Naruto's expression hardened. They threatened Ren. Hana nodded. They told me that if I approached you, they would erase him. Naruto clenched his fists. So you stayed away. Quote. Yes. For 23 years. Hana looked at him. No. Only 13. Naruto froze. What? Hana took a breath. I arrived in your time 13 years ago. Naruto stared. Then. You've been here this entire time. Quote. Yes. Where? Hana pointed toward the facility. Here. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Why? Because this place isn't just a laboratory. She looked toward the ceiling. It is a shelter. A shelter from what? Quote. Hana's expression became terrified. The future. Everyone became silent. Hana continued. When I arrived, I thought I could find you. But I discovered something. The timeline was already being attacked. Quote. Every time I tried to approach Konoha, events changed. People disappeared. Memories were rewritten. So I stayed hidden. To protect Ren. Naruto looked at her. But Ren was still in the future. Quote. Hana nodded. Because the future you knew was already gone. Naruto frowned. What does that mean? Hana walked toward the central platform. This facility exists outside normal time. Ren was sent here when he was a baby. Quote. What? Hana touched the platform. He was protected here. Until the Chrono Shinobi found us. Naruto looked at Ren. Ren looked confused. I don't remember this. You were too young. Hana smiled sadly. They took you. Where? To the future. Naruto's expression hardened. So, they've had Ren before. Hana nodded. They raised him for a while. They trained him. They taught him that you were dead. Quote. Ren looked shocked. What? Hana looked at him. They lied. You didn't lose your father. You were separated from him. Ren's eyes filled with tears. Naruto stepped forward. I need to know everything. Quote. Hana nodded. There is one thing you must understand. What? The Chrono Shinobi aren't the true enemy. Naruto's expression changed. Again. Hana shook her head. No. This time I'm serious. Then who is? Quote. Hana looked toward the deepest part of the facility. The person controlling them. Naruto followed her gaze. A large sealed door stood at the end of the chamber. Hana whispered. The Chronarch. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Who is that? Hana answered. Someone who exists outside time. Naruto frowned. Human. No. Otsutsuki. No. Then what? Hana looked at him. A person who was erased from history. Naruto became silent. Hana continued. He was the first person to discover time travel. He tried to create a perfect future. He failed. And when history rejected him, he decided to control history instead. Naruto understood. He created the Chrono Shinobi. Hana nodded. And now, he wants Ren. Naruto's eyes became cold. Why? Hana looked directly at him. Because Ren isn't simply your son. Naruto frowned. What else is he? Quote. Hana whispered. He is the first human being born with a natural connection to multiple timelines. Everyone froze. Ren stared at his mother. What? Hana nodded. Your chakra exists simultaneously in several possible futures. Quote. You can survive timeline changes. You can remember worlds that no longer exist. You can travel through history without being erased. Naruto finally understood. That is why they wanted him. Yes. Quote. They don't want to kill him. No. They want to use him. Hana nodded. To become the new Chronarch. Naruto's expression hardened. No. Hana looked at him. They will come. When? Hana looked toward the sealed door. Soon. A deep sound echoed through the facility. Boom. The walls shook. Everyone turned. Another explosion. Boom. The sealed door began cracking. Ren stepped beside Naruto. Naruto activated Sage Mode. Sasuke's Rinnegan glowed. Sakura prepared her medical chakra. Kakashi pulled out a kunai. Hana stepped backward. Naruto looked at his son. Stay behind me. Ren shook his head. No. Naruto smiled. You really are my son. Quote. Ren smiled. Exactly. The door exploded. A wave of black chakra flooded the chamber. Dozens of Chrono Shinobi appeared. But behind them, someone else walked through. A tall man. Long white hair. Golden eyes. No visible age. No visible chakra. He looked at Naruto. Then Ren. Then Hana. And smiled. So, the family is finally together. Naruto stepped forward. Who are you? The man smiled. My name is Chronarch. Quote. The entire facility trembled. Chronarch looked at Ren. You have no idea how long I've waited for you. Naruto stood between them. You're not taking my son. Chronarch laughed. I don't need to take him. Quote. He raised one hand. The entire room began changing. Walls disappeared. The floor became transparent. Countless timelines appeared around them. Millions of possible worlds. In one, Naruto was Hokage. In another, Naruto was dead. In another, Ren never existed. In another, Ren was the strongest shinobi alive. Chronarch smiled. I only need to convince him. Which world deserves to survive? Naruto looked at Ren. Ren looked terrified. Then Chronarch said something that made Naruto's blood run cold. Because, Naruto Uzumaki, you aren't Ren's only father. Naruto's eyes widened. Chronarch pointed toward the countless timelines. There are thousands of versions of you. And one of them created the future you are trying to save. The timelines began collapsing around them. Naruto clenched his fists. Then I'll save everyone I can. Quote. Chronarch smiled. That's exactly what I wanted you to say. And with those words, the first true battle for the future began.